guys, and welcome to my top 10 beauty products of 2015. You might have noticed that I didn't do a December favourites video, and that's because I was here, there and everywhere during December and pretty much not actually discovering any new products. So instead, I thought I would look back on all my favourites of the past 12 months of the whole of 2015 and somehow try and pull together my top 10 to share with you guys. Hopefully you might find it useful. Maybe you have some of the same favourites as I do, or maybe you might discover a new product. So let's get started. 2015 for me was really the year where my blog kind of took over my life a little bit, so there were lots of beauty discoveries. So as you can imagine, choosing just 10 was pretty hard, and to be honest, I'm really probably with the 10 that I've chosen. There are a few little added extras in there, some honorary mentions, let's just say. But to start with, for the top 10, probably my favourite beauty discovery of 2015, no surprise, it's the Missal cleansing polish. I'm pretty sure when I vlogged about this, I was like, guys, I'm giving up beauty vlogging. I don't need to review or test any more cleansers because I found the one, and I still live by that. I don't really use many other cleansers. Yes, of course I try a few more, maybe for a couple of days at a time. I use the Oscar Renaissance cleansing gel kind of on special occasions when I want to pamper myself, but for all day, every day, not all day, at the end of the day obviously, I am just obsessed with the Missal cleansing polish. It's worked wonders for my skin. It's really helped to regulate out my skin, so no more waking up with a dry skin day or an oily skin day. I just credit this to really making me have a good skin day every day pretty much. I mean, not that my skin's perfect, but I've really enjoyed using this. It's gentle, you can use it on your eyes, it's very thorough but still being incredibly gentle, and it's not a bad price, it's easy to get hold of, just a winner. And I'm sure loads of beauty bloggers are also obsessed with this. In fact, I know they are. But for me, this really is a standout cleansing product for 2015, and I'll continue to use this for many years to come, I'm sure. So this is my first 2015 favourite beauty product. I'm going to try and do this in the order that I'd apply them to my face. So I didn't actually put a primer or a serum or a moisturiser in my favourites, just because there were a few that I loved and nothing really that wow for me to include in my top 10 products. So the next thing, had to get it out of my drawer because I'd forgotten to collect it. The next thing that is in my 2015 top 10 is the Rimmel Match Perfection foundation. This really revolutionised my foundation. It's become very clearly my everyday go-to. If I want to go for an evening look, this just creates the most flawless finish. If I want an everyday look, it's quick, it's easily blendable. And I think the standout time for me with this foundation was one time when I went out for a girls' night out with some of my girlfriends, and all of them just kept commenting on how great my skin looked, and it made me feel so great that evening. The photos were, I just loved those photos from that evening, and my skin just looked really incredible, if I do say so myself, and it was all down to this, and that one day kind of got me hooked on it. Now I just use it as an everyday. As I said, I use it in the evenings when I want to have a really airbrush effect. I'll buff on a few layers of this, and it's a drugstore foundation. Honestly, I have a few luxury foundations in my makeup drawer, Dior, Hourglass, you name it, but I reach for this over those when I want to have a really beautiful makeup look. It's also my foundation for filming, so if you're a YouTuber or a blogger and you film yourself, this is what I wear on my skin. And this is probably my 5th bottle. It's not that expensive, it's under £10, so I'm quite happy to just top up a few bottles of this. It's SPF 20 as well, which is great. And in case you're wondering, I use 200 Soft Beige as the colour. There's a few versions of this. There's one with a red lid, which I think is called the 25-hour foundation. That one I love as well. And there's also the same thing from a brand called Manhattan, which I think is just a European version of Rimmel, and it's exactly the same. So if you're European and you have Manhattan but not Rimmel, then if it looks like this, then it's probably the same one. Also, the product which I used to apply that foundation also is in my 2015 top products, and it's this, which is the Zoeva 102. God, I should actually know this. Yes, it's the 102 Silk Finish Foundation Brush. Before this, I was a little bit hit and miss. I had a MAC one, the dual fibre, and before that I had one of those, I'm not sure the official name, but ones that look like a paintbrush, and never really got the right effect. The paintbrush one kind of slapped it on, and I used to get those Tide lines, are they called? And the paintbrush, I just found I could never really get much consistency. But this really revolutionised the way that I put on my foundation. I got it within the set, I think it's a set of 8 or maybe even more than that. It's pretty much just all the brushes that you need. They're absolutely beautiful, easily a blogger's favourite, but also I told all my friends to get them and they absolutely love them. The whole set is full of really useful brushes. They do look gorgeous because of this white tip on the top, but yes, it gets dirty, but yes, it's also very, very easy to clean, so don't let that put you off. Mine is incredibly battered, just proves how much I love it and how much I've used it. It's been in my travel bag hundreds of times. It's been very well used, but it's still going strong, and I think value for money, the beauty of the product, the functionality of the product, you can't go wrong. So I highly recommend Zoeva brushes. 2015 has definitely been the year of Zoeva brushes. The pink set with the rose gold top, just absolutely gorgeous. I think I might treat myself to the full set. I've got the eye set at the moment, but yeah, great investment, blogger favourite for good reason. So a well-deserved brush for my top 10 beauty products of 2015. Oh, I kind of should have mentioned this one with my skincare at the very beginning, but actually this is something which I use in the evening, so I'll mention it now, and it's the Darphin Revitalising Oil for Face, Body and Hair. Now I have to say I've only ever used this on the face because it almost seems too precious to use on the body and hair. Darphin is one of my favourite skincare brands when it comes to the luxury of the product itself. Their oils are just divine, their products, they all just smell so heavenly and they really do incredible things to your skin. This has made its way into my top 10 because firstly, the price for a Darphin oil, and Darphin is really famed for just the quality and magic of their oils. This is $29.99, I believe. I will put something over the screen now if it's wrong, but I believe this is $29.99, which is such good value. You have, how many mils? You have 50 ml in here, which is quite a lot of oil, and as you can see I'm only about halfway through, but I have been using this 1 or 2, sometimes 3 drops pretty much every evening, bar a few evenings when I'm trying out something else, but it smells absolutely gorgeous. What I do is I've put a couple of pumps of this into my hands, rub my hands together, breathe it in, inhale all those gorgeous scents, pass my hands to Charlie, let him breathe it in, and then I pat it on my face, and it's just such a lovely pampering addition to my evening routine. And as I do have quite oily skin, this really helps to rebalance the skin. I think we're all over the fact that you shouldn't use oils on oily skin. You definitely can. In fact, it's really good for balancing out oily skin. So this has been a product which I've really loved using in 2015, and when it runs out I'll definitely be repurchasing this. Super value for money, absolutely love this. This next one is actually a reasonably recent addition to my makeup collection, and I did think quite hard about whether to add this in because I did wonder whether it was just something that I'm obsessed with right now, but honestly I do see myself using this in spring, in summer, definitely in summer, because it does bring such a gorgeous glow to the skin, and it's my Hourglass Ambient Light Bronzing Powder. So I've got Luminous Bronze Light and I'm really pleased with it at the moment because I'm not as tanned as I like to be at the moment, so this just adds a really lovely, and if I do say so, I think it looks quite a healthy and natural looking tan, which is great for the winter. I do tend to go a little bit grey in winter time, maybe it says something about my diet, but also the fact that I need a holiday, and this really does just bring a little bit of shape, a bit of life, and definitely a healthy glow back into my skin. I definitely think I'll continue to use this in the summertime because it does have those ever so slightly shimmering particles which do give it that lovely glow, so I think that will make it an absolutely gorgeous product to use in summertime. To be honest, I fell in love with the whole ambient lighting range. I got their, can't even remember what it's called now, the basic, the first powder that everyone obsessed with. Was it just called the ambient light powder? I think so. And then I got the blush, which very nearly also made the cut into my top 10. And then I finally went ahead and got the bronzer. Just the whole range, don't know how they do it. They look gorgeous and the products inside are really spectacular. So I wouldn't be surprised to see this in quite a few beauty bloggers' top products of 2015 because this really is a stunning bronzer and it's the one that I definitely reach for on an everyday basis. So the blusher that I chose in the end was the Charlotte Tilbury Cheek to Chic in the shade Sex on Fire. This I find is a really versatile blusher. Again, it's Charlotte Tilbury, so I mean you can't really go wrong with any Charlotte Tilbury products. It's probably one of my standout brands for 2015. Can't believe I'd never tried it before that. In fact, did it launch in 2015? No, surely not. It must have been 2014. But this was my favourite Charlotte Tilbury product and my favourite blusher for the year. I found that I've really loved the shade. It's still a very girly pink, but this darker shade in the middle has really meant that when it's got a little bit cooler and I've wanted something slightly warmer on my face, it's given me almost a purpley mauve kind of colour to my cheeks, which I've absolutely loved and has definitely become my everyday blush. It's incredibly good quality. I find it lasts a long time. As I said, I've been using this every day and it really doesn't seem to have affected the quantity that's in there, so I'm hoping this is going to stick around a lot longer. Yes, Charlotte Tilbury is not the cheapest product to buy and they're definitely not budget, but I really think you get what you pay for, especially with Charlotte Tilbury. I'm just impressed with everything that this gal brings out and have loved using this blusher. The next 3 products from my top 10 are all eye products, starting with Urban Decay's Naked 3 palette. I'm not sure when the Naked 3 came out, I'm pretty sure it probably wasn't 2015, but 2015 was the year that I got my hands on it, and I'd say for a good 6 months solidly I would use this every single morning. The colours which are inside are just so perfect for me. I love browns and like these kind of pinky browns, almost rose goldy copper shades on my eyelids, and I especially loved using Muna and Limit for the all over the eyelid, and then I used Liar, Buzz, I'm looking at the ones that are really heavily dented, and Biscuit. So I just absolutely loved using this palette. I found all of the shades were so wearable, really suit people with my kind of colorations, hair colour and skin colour and eye colour, and yeah, you just cannot fault this. I think again these are super duper value for money. The brushes that come inside them, unlike many eyeshadow palettes, are actually really good quality, and I use that every time I use the Naked palette. I think the shadows themselves are also really good quality. As I said, I use them pretty much every day. I didn't ever struggle with creasing or that it fell off or faded throughout the day, and I use them so often and yet I still have not hit the pan for any of these shades. So even though I used, I think it was Burnout, I think I probably said Biscuit last time because I couldn't read it because it's all faded away, but I think I used Burnout as my everyday shade for at least 6 months and it's still going strong. So yeah, great value for money. I think these are around the £40 mark, but when you think of how many colours you get and just how super they are, highly recommend this if you've not yet tried it. Also on the eyes, Roller Lash was an incredible launch of 2015 from Benefit, and it really did become my go-to mascara for 2015. It lifts, it separates, it curls the lashes. I mean, what more do you want? It's a really lovely formula, sticks around for a long time. The packaging is really cute. I know some people say that Benefit products have loads of hype, but I really do think that this lived up to the hype. Yes, there was a lot of hype around when it launched, but I think it's well deserved. This really is an incredible mascara. There are drugstore mascaras which I love as well, but for me, I find myself reaching for this one over and over again, and it's pink, which of course means that I love it. And yeah, this is probably my 3rd bottle. The wand on this is really great. It's good for separating and also building volume. Honestly, I don't have a bad word to say about Roller Lash Mascara, so of all the mascaras in 2015 and of all the beauty products, this is in my top 10 and definitely my favourite mascara of the year. And lastly, on the eyes, I really have always struggled with my eyebrows. I know you guys probably bored of me saying it, but I really do. And something which really stood out for me this year was the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz. Now, I was really late to the bandwagon with this. I think I picked this up maybe in around March time, something like that, when I went to the US. I got this from Sephora. I didn't ever know where to buy it from in the UK, but this really did change my brow game. I did also purchase the Anastasia Beverly Hills, what's it called? That one that everyone's obsessed with. Oh, that gel, what's it called? Brow Sculpt? Brow Wiz? Probably Brow Wiz. No, this is Brow Wiz. You know the one I mean, the one in the pot. Sculpting brow gel, I don't know, but you know the one I mean. But I never really got along with that. I'm still persisting because I really do want to, because it was quite expensive. But for me, this was just super duper easy to use. The colour itself, I have the shade Soft Brown, and I found that to be a really good colour match for my brows. I love the fact that it's a really skinny pencil, and although I have used this a heck of a lot, there still seems to be quite a lot of pencil left. I absolutely hate it when you splash out on a product like that and you find that it only lasts a few weeks because there's not actually that much product inside, but this one is still going strong. And there's a brush on the other end. Mine is completely full of makeup and I don't really know how to clean it, but just a 2-in-1 product, absolutely super, especially if your brows are quite sparse and you need to fill them in as well as shape them. I just found that this was quite revolutionary for my brows in 2015, and again, when this runs out, I'll be repurchasing, even though at the moment I'm using Urban Decay Brow Beater just to kind of pad this out a little bit, and they're very similar products, and Urban Decay is easier to pick up in the UK, but for me still this one just pipped it to the post. And finally, this is my last top 10 product of 2015, and I have to admit, I'm not sure I've actually spoken about this on YouTube before, maybe not even the blog, because it's one that kind of very slowly crept its way into my beauty routine, into my everyday makeup bag, and I always used it. It was my everyday lip colour, and it kind of became like my signature lip colour, especially while I was working, and then I just bought a load more products and it kind of fell to the back. But basically, long rambling intro aside, it's this, which is the Bite Lip Beauty Matte Creme Lip Crayon in the shade Amaretto. It's the colour that I'm wearing now, and I think it's such a universally flattering shade no matter what your skin tone, no matter what your natural lip colour, because this is a very heavily pigmented product. It's a creamy, almost crayon-like lipstick, so it's like a lipstick. Not a lip balm, although it doesn't dry out the lips, so I do have naturally quite dry lips and I don't find this to dry out my lips anymore, which is great. And lasting power wise, you just cannot beat this. I find that I don't need to top up maybe once or twice a day. It really is incredibly long lasting, and I always used to get compliments on my lip colour when wearing this, but I feel like I didn't talk about it that much on the blog or YouTube channel. I think it was one that I just felt so familiar with. It was almost too much part of my routine. It never had its moment. It's really hard to explain, but as soon as but always throughout the year I was like, I must include this in my end of year favourites. Kind of always had that in my head because it really is such a spectacular product. Now, I'm sorry to say that I'm not sure where you can buy this in the UK, because I actually got my first and second one from Sephora, and then when I wasn't going to New York anymore, I actually asked my boss at work, can you please stock up on these? I have about 4 of these in my cupboard and I'm sure I'll get through them. They do last a long time because there's a lot of product in there, but with the fact that I used this and topped it up maybe 3 times a day, you can imagine I did get through quite a few of these in 2015. And so that is it. They are my top 10 beauty products of 2015. I think that 2015 for me was a really great year of discovering new things, but also really finding out what worked for my skin, what worked for my colourings, my complexion, and really was the year that I felt really comfortable with the products that I was using. Not so much chopping and changing, but more finding things that I loved and really sticking to them. So hopefully you guys have found this really interesting, and I'd love to know if any of these products were on your 2015 top 10, or even just some of your favourite beauty products of the year. And also, if there's anything that you have absolutely loved which I haven't mentioned, then please do let me know, because I'd love to know what you guys have been loving or loved in 2015 as well. So do give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and leave a little comment, say hello if you want to, and if this is your first time on my channel, then I'd love it if you would subscribe, in which case you'll never miss a video from me again. Lucky you. And yeah, I will see you in my next one, guys. Bye bye!